All right, this is the next video. I've got a tank. I'm not using the tank that was on here because I've got spares, and I replaced the diaphragm and gasket in this little tank in front of me that I'm going to install. And then I tested it to make sure it primed by putting a couple of cups of kerosene in here, and then push the primer, make sure that it primes, and it did. It squirted real good. So I make myself a note on these and to myself later if I say, okay, is this going to prime or not? But I know I've already repaired it, and it is. So lucky for me, the little piece here that it connects to, this little loopy eye hook that goes into the air vane, is actually here. So I'm going to try and put this little hole into that L, and once it goes on, slide this tank on there and see what we got. So that's lining up pretty good. Now you got to line up this grommet, rubber grommet on the side of the car with the crankcase vent, which is right there, and then slide all that on while it's all in place. And then you look here, say, okay, is that lined up? Yes, it is. I'll push it up a little bit so it is. Grab one of my 7/16 screws and get this started. Get these get it just so it's starting to thread in, you know. There we go. It's starting to thread in. And then you get a screw that holds the tank on. I think this is the one I took off. You've got to have this little spacer washer that goes behind the, let me show you that. Get this glove off here. This is a must-have. You've got to have this spacer, which is going to go right in there, see, between this tank and the engine block, right? Between there and the engine block. And so I'll use some needle nose pliers, hold it in position and put the screw in. If you don't do that, you will, and you cinch this thing up, you'll crack that, break it, then you'll ruin your tank. And they're hard to repair if they're repairable at all. So let me set the camera down again. And get my needle nose pliers so that I can hold this spacer in place while I put the screw in. And of course the screw is taken off, it's underneath the tank. And now it's all dirty. See if I can find a brush. There's a wire brush, that's always good. All right. So now, grab this spacer like that with the needle nose pliers and put it in position between the tank and the engine block. And then you get that, you have to move the tank a little bit to get where it all lines up. So I think that's lined up. So now let me get a 1/2 inch socket. That's the same on this one, like it is a lot of others. All these pulse jets. Some of them use 3/8. This is 1/2. So hopefully this thing's going where it's supposed to. Is that going in? Yeah, that's going in. So I'm going to get this where it's at least getting close to being seated, and then I'll come back to the 7/16 and snug it up. Go. Now you can see that tank move. Get this one real snug. There we go. Everything is snug. That tank's not moving around, so that's good. Let's check. Oh, I just bumped my camera. Let's check the Let's check the air vane, make sure it's working like it should. Oh yeah, that's like perfect. Now this is the old-fashioned here kind of. There's nothing I can bend down to stabilize this, so this throttle will, you know, it can change based on the tension here. So that'll be probably slower. Let's see, that's going to be slower. That'll be a little faster. So I may just, you know, rig something up to lock this in place, because I want to make it like a modern mower where it's running at the correct speed all the time, and then when you shut it off and there's no throttle involved. All right, let's put the rewinder back on. And by the way, I did install the original loop to hold the cord, and I just bent it so it sticks out straight now. I just grabbed a big old pair of pliers and put that on there. So let's see, that's not in the right position. It's got to be on the outside of that piece on the other side, and right now it's not. This is not lining up too good. Try again here. There we go. Make sure this spark plug cord is in that groove. If it's over here, you'll cut it. You can end up shorting everything out. So don't do that. So there's one. And now let me get one of my 7/16 screws and get it started. Come on, dude. Why is that doing that? Look at it. Okay, there. Kind of hold it in place, and still on the outside. So we gotta move that. There's a metal piece over here that the rewinder needs to be on top of. It's a little sticking up over here. Try it again. And go around this side a bit easier. Okay, that's in the correct position. Maybe I should get this one started first, since it keeps moving on me. So I'm going to try and get this one started. Okay, got a few thread turns on that one. Now I'll do this one. Hold it in place where it's all lined up. So I get a few thread turns on that one. I'm missing one of my screws. Maybe I'll set it over here. Yep, that's the other one. I wonder if you guys enjoy working on lawnmowers as much as I do. I just do Briggs and Stratton, by the way. I don't know if I've mentioned that or not. I don't like working on anything else. I think they're wonderful little machines. I think this one's 30 years old, and I'm hoping it's going to run good after just giving it a little bit of care, a little bit of attention. Let's see, let me use my power drill on this guy here. And now I'll do this one a little bit. Okay, snugged up, all right. Do the other one over here. I did add some oil to this crankcase because it was low. The little bit that was in there was super clean, so that's good. Make sure everything's pulling like it should. Yep, that's good. And I'm going to connect the spark plug wire now. And maybe we'll go out here and pull the cord on this, but I got to put some fuel in it first. Got to put enough fuel in here to where it's touching that take-up tube in the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's my count of 12 I always use. I know that'll be it's not full, but it's enough to where it should prime. Okay, that's really about it. I'm going to wheel this thing out and pull the cord, but before I do that, I'll sign off and we'll come back for a little short video for that.